metal card. And that's the way they sell it. Yeah, you can argue about points or interest rates or a high limit, but what they're really telling you is, hey, when you hand this over, people will feel the thud. It's 5 times heavier than a normal credit card, and they're going to know you're cool. And I was like, all right, I'm sold. Give it to me.
You're pretty cool, David.
Well, but you know what's the funny thing about it is that I use the credit card all the time. It's had 2 comments, 2 out of probably 100 or more uses. So it's not maybe as much prestige as I think that it is, but what I think that it is all that matters. And what your customer thinks that it is all that matters. And that's something worth paying for, and it's something you can charge more money for.
Because a lot of times with products or services, it's how you're making the person feel when they buy it, when they use it, when they take it around town, whatever it is. It's supposed to conjure up a feeling, and prestige might be one of those feelings.
Now, what about for somebody that is doing what we call information products? You and I, in the book business or podcasting, like if you're listening to this podcast, one of the things that we offer, and this is one of the reasons that people listen, we offer speed. We offer a shortcut. We've got 20 years of knowledge. I mean, I've been doing it for 20 years. You've been doing it for about 10 or 12. Mm-hmm. So 20, 30 years of knowledge, depending on what you want to, how you want to add that up. People are paying for a shortcut, and people are paying for speed. And that's another reason that people would buy from you is, can you shortcut their experience? It goes back to diet pills. These things all kind of, they're very enmeshed.
And I don't know if we've talked about writing headlines on this podcast, David, but that's kind of one of the main templates for writing a good headline, a copywritten headline is, how to do X, like in terms of diet pills, lose 20 pounds in blank amount of time, in 30 days, without rigorous dieting. So without what you don't want. And so those headlines not always, but a lot of times talk about that speed, because you're selling speed. You're selling an amount of time for people to lose weight, to become successful, to grow their fan base on Facebook. I got something in my inbox the other day that was like, how we got 18,000 new subscribers on our email list in 30 days. And how this person did it in 14 days. So speed is definitely something. Because
speed is huge.
Yeah, because I could get that many subscribers in 2 years, but they're selling me on 30 days.
Well, and here's something that the weight loss headline that you mentioned, because if you're going to say, take these pills, it'll be 30 days without dieting. Well, that's ease as well. So
Absolutely.
You're getting speed and ease. Ease is another thing that you get by listening to Red Podcast or reading a great book, is you're going to get knowledge from somebody that you don't have to learn the hard way. If you've listened to this podcast for a while, we've talked about the mistakes that we've made. Some of them. There's no way to fit all of them into.
I know. We don't have time.
No. But if you can learn from our mistakes, that's going to get you ease. And another thing about ease, this is a reason I've had a lot of people pay me for consulting, is my connections. They think that once I get them going, I can just refer a great product to somebody else that I know. And sometimes I do. Ease could be knowledge and connections.
Well, I got an email in my inbox today that was from a virtual assistant. I'd never met this woman before. She was just introducing herself, and she had a couple lines in there. It wasn't a very long email, but what she was trying to sell me was ease. She's like, I handle these things so that you can do blank. You can have more ease with all of this. You can spend more time on the things that matter, and I do the things that don't need all your time.
Right.
So she wasn't really selling me like, I'm going to answer your emails correctly and they're going to be grammatically correct and amazing.
And that's huge with a virtual assistant. Anybody can go on Odesk and find somebody who can do data entry or whatever virtual assistant type task that you're interested in. But some people make a whole lot more money than others. I know virtual assistants that are making $25, $30 an hour. I know folks working on Odesk that might be doing it for $3 an hour. So about 10% of the cost of some of the higher end guys. Now, why would you pay more for that? And why would somebody pay you more for that? it's exactly what you're talking about, Laurel. It's ease. It's knowing that it's going to get done. It's peace of mind. That's another big one.
And I think all of those virtual assistants are selling ease. I mean, ease is a part of it for you. They're making things easier for you. It's just some of them are actually communicating that to you when they're trying to sell to you, and some of them aren't. And they're both giving you the same service, but some of them are roping you in, the customer in, with creating this sense that you will have this ease, or you will have speed, or you will have the prestige of having a VA, or whatever. They're roping you in on what you actually want.
Right. And if you go to like a high-end restaurant or a high-end clothing store, you know they're high-end because they call themselves clothiers. Those guys take care of everything. You don't have to worry about a thing. I think ease is huge, and you wonder, it's just fabric. How are you getting so much more money for this fabric, which is not 30 times more valuable than the other fabric that I could get across town? Well, a lot of it is that ease. They're going to take care of everything. The thing is going to be measured to your specifications. You just show up, they do the work, they're going to mail you the stuff or give it to you, rather than you having to run all over town. I mean, ease is massive. And what about certainty and confidence? I think that's a huge one. That's a secondary payoff that people would get from dealing with somebody like us, or from going to a really great mechanic. It's going to help them to make the decisions that they're kind of teetering on, and let them know that they're making the right decision. So that's something worth paying for.
Well, I was listening to Dan Kennedy when I was driving to and from the mountains this past week, and he was saying something on that. He had an example, which I just thought was hilarious, was about a brain surgeon. And you don't want to go to the brain surgeon that's like, well, I'm going to be honest. I don't know if we can get this. We're going to open up your skull, and I'm going to, I'll do the best I can based on what I know, and, we'll see what happens, but you don't really have a good shot here. As opposed to the certain surgeon who's like, you have come to the right place. You have come to the right person. We are going to get in there. We are going to take care of that. It's going to work. That's what you're selling. Both brain surgeons are going to go in and do the best job that they can. Whether that's a good job or not, we don't know, but the best job that they can. But it's the one that's certain that you're going to want to go with.
Laurel, have you ever watched Dr. Phil or seen clips of him?
Absolutely.
Dr. Phil, to me, not the most qualified guy, probably.
He's talking about weight loss.
He's talking about weight loss. He's probably a good 50 or 60 pounds overweight, and given all sorts of advice that he probably has no business doing in a lot of ways. But the way he gives it is with absolute certainty. There's no gray area. Dave Ramsey is that way. Dave Ramsey is another guy that when you listen to the Dave Ramsey show, he's telling you how to do it. And there have been people that have said, Dave, this isn't really good advice. You could probably do better elsewhere. There's a lot of people online that try to debunk Dave Ramsey and Dr. Phil as well. But those guys are so certain. When you're in pain from being overweight, or you're in pain from being in debt, sometimes it's just really nice to have somebody hold your hand, let you know that it's going to be okay, and start making the decisions for you. Because obviously the decisions that you were making on your own got you there. You're not really sure about your decisions at that point. So if somebody can come in, even if it's not the best advice, any advice that you get is going to be better than what you're getting or what you've been giving yourself. So I think that's a great one, the certainty and confidence. And I love the example of the brain surgeon. You just want somebody that's going to be confident.
I know. I would go for the confident brain surgeon. Let me tell you that.
So if you've got a business and you're like, well, I don't know. If you really want to make the big money, go in there and be confident, because you probably do know more than the average person. That's the thing that I think that people don't realize when they're in the middle of something. Like I haven't actively played guitar for 15, 20 years. Not actively, not in a band, that kind of environment. But I still know more than the average guy on the street, just from my years and years of playing. Even though I'm not really confident going out on stage now, I could still do something that would help the average person who's never been on stage. And same for you. Whatever it is that you're doing, probably you're so close to it that you don't realize how good you are. And if you can get out there with certainty and confidence, you're going to be able to charge a whole lot more money. That's not to say that you shouldn't be at the top of your game if you're going to do that, but just to prove the point that certainty and confidence goes a long way, and that you know more than you realize.
David, in the last minute or so here, I want to just ask you, if for people that are still trying to wrap their heads around this concept, let me give you a couple examples and you can just briefly shoot out, what this type of person is selling. So if I was a graphic designer, what am I really selling? And let's just do this real quick.
Okay, so let's go back to look at these. You're selling ease. Have you ever tried to open up Photoshop? Well, you're good at it, Laurel. I'm not. And sometimes it's nice just for me to throw down some money and have it done. But also what I think that you're doing is I think the graphic design, by the nature of it, let's say it's going to be a logo, you're selling prestige. You say, well, this logo is going to allow you to go out and get more people than you are without it. So that would be one of those things.
Okay, what about personal trainer?
Personal trainer, I think that one of the things that you're doing is you're getting speed, you're getting shortcuts, you're getting ease and knowledge and just the awareness of what needs to happen. You're getting, what's the word, like accountability? Mm-hmm. I mean, accountability is huge, and that's worth paying for because you're not holding yourself accountable. It's like I said earlier, the decisions that you've made, if you need a personal trainer, aren't what the personal trainer can help you with. So for him to hold you accountable or her to hold you accountable is worth something. Even if they don't know any more than you do, that's worth something. That's why people are in so many mastermind groups. It's not that they're necessarily getting the knowledge, but they're held accountable and they're going to be embarrassed.
Okay, one more real quick, copywriting. If I'm a copywriter, I'm not really selling copywriting. What am I selling underneath that?
Well, you're selling results, certainly. You want to get sales, you want to get leads, whatever it is that the purpose of the copy is. But you're also selling ease. You're also selling somebody who's going to do the job for you and get you the results that you want without you having to go out and work for them.
Well, thanks. That kind of helps wrap it up today. So what's next if people want more information about Red?
Well, if you want more information about Red, we are at redpodcast.com, and we got some exciting stuff. We're in the middle of it right now, Laurel.
Yeah, we have it coming up. We have our giveaway, big giveaway coming up. Yep. I guess in a couple days. Actually.
Just a couple days, and right now you can go to redpodcast.com. We're calling it 30 Days of Red, something like that, right? It's 30 days. That's all I know.
You wrote the copy on it, which was funny, but it's 30 days of red hot giveaways.
And when we talk about giveaways, we're talking about stuff that you can actually use. We've got iPods, we have Kindles, Blinkist subscriptions, which I love Blinkist. Blinkist helps me to do book summaries and really get clear on some of the stuff that I'm reading. It's kind of like Cliff Notes for nonfiction books. Fantastic. We've got some other stuff. We're giving away some of our important books that we've read that have really benefited us, audio books, and all of this can be had by going to redpodcast.com. We'll be announcing winners here and via our email newsletter. It's a low-volume newsletter, right, Laurel?
I don't know what that means.
Well, we're not spamming people. We're not sending you junk. We're not really selling anything, are we?
No.
It's just it's all about Red. Yeah. It's about how to grow your business, live a life of freedom, make money, all the stuff we're talking about here. All right. Well, that's it. And Laurel, I will see you the next episode. Thank you.
All right.
You've been listening to Red Podcast, Real Entrepreneur Development. Subscribe today using iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS at redpodcast.com.